Lore Master Jito here. I'm the librarian of Azeroth, and I'm bringing you the lore straight from the books. Today we're reading the second section of the Mage Order Hall book, Archive of the Tirisgarde, written by Adira. Here she is. Originally the mage trainer in Exodar, she's now a Tirisgarde researcher. Thanks, Adira. This second section covers Felo'melorn, also known as Flamestrike, a sword of arcane fire passed down through Blood Elf royalty, which now lays in the cold dark halls of Icecrown Citadel. Felo'melorn, Flamestrike, Sword of Kings, Bane of Trolls. Its legend stretches back through the millennia. It stands as a symbol of hope, loss, and power of destruction and renewal. Those who have wielded Felo'melorn have forever etched their names into history. Will you do the same? Though it is not known for certain, rumors that have passed down through generations suggest that a young Dathramar Sunstrider, who would one day become king of the High Elves, dreamed of the weapon Felo'melorn. In that dream, the arcane blade burned like the sun and dispatched so many enemies that it created a swift-flowing river of blood. Dathramar would later recount the specifics of the blade's appearance to the renowned magesmith Luminarian as he crafted the weapon on his arcane forge. From the personal writings of Serena Everwind, Night Elf Priestess during the War of the Ancients, Dathramar wielded Felo'melorn, Flamestrike, like an elf possessed. He was an unstoppable force, at once majestic and graceful, yet savage and deadly. The runes on the blades seemed to pulse in rhythm with the pounding of Dathramar's fierce heart as he separated limb from body and head from shoulders. When the fighting was done, Dathramar stood painted in demon blood. As night fell, we knew that more battles remained, and yet, with this elf and this blade among us, we held out hope that victory did not lie beyond our grasp. In the hands of Anasterian Sunstrider, great-grandson of the High Elf King Dathramar, Felo'melorn became a legendary troll killer. Among the trolls, whispers spread of a spellbound blade, empowered by arcane magic not only to slay the most formidable and cunning of its enemies, but also to cut through superior numbers and irrigate battlefields with their blood. Troll witch doctors set about casting hexes and curses against the infamous weapon, but history bears out that even the darkest voodoo did little to negate the effectiveness of Felo'melorn during the Troll Wars. An account of the battle between the Death Knight Arthas and Anasterian Sunstrider during the attack on Quel'Thalas, from the personal writings of the former priestess Liadrin. All fighting came to a halt. Silence fell over the battlefield. I watched from a distance, helpless as the former Prince Arthas cast a spell, freezing Anasterian in a coat of ice. The king cast a counterspell, freeing himself as the Death Knight advanced. Felo'melorn and Frostmourne met, the strident clash of their impact rolling out over the ice and across the blood-drenched tiles. The force of their meeting cleaved Felo'melorn, Flamestrike, in half. Arthas's swing continued, severing the right leg of our aged, beloved king. Even as Anasterian dropped to his remaining knee, he struck out, burying his broken blade in the Death Knight's thigh. Arthas whirled Frostmourne up, over, and down, thrusting it to the hilt between Anasterian's collarbone and deep into his chest. The Death Knight yanked his blade free. Anasterian pitched forward onto the ice. The great king of the High Elves was dead, and for many of us that day, our hopes and our hearts died with him. Excerpt from the journal of Lor'themar Theron concerning Prince Kael'thas's return in the immediate wake of Quel'Thalas's destruction. Our fallen king, Anasterian, lay upon a table in the tavern hall. His broken blade, Felo'melorn, rested upon his chest, the two pieces joined. I told our prince that the weapon had been shattered in the battle with the Death Knight Arthas. Kael'thas walked to his father's body and ran his finger over the fracture, remarking that he did not believe it possible for Flamestrike's blade to be sundered. I was left wondering what legacy, if any, awaited our people and the legendary blade that now symbolized not strength or dominance, but fallibility. In the time following the devastating Scourge attack on Quel'Thalas, Prince Kael'thas renamed the High Elf survivors the Sin'dorei, or Blood Elves. While the prince and a band of blood elves assisted the human troops of Grand Marshal Garithos against the remaining undead forces, it was rumored that Cael'thas kept the pieces of his father's sword, Felo'melorn, on a sideboard in his dilapidated quarters. Cael'thas dreamed of making Flamestrike's blade whole again, so that it might serve once more as a symbol of hope, to show his people that even in the face of overwhelming hardship, the Blood Elves would not be broken. In time, Prince Cael'thas Sunstrider realized his dream of rejoining the broken pieces of Felo'melorn. It is said that the sword was reforged with magic and hatred and a burning need for revenge. There are some who speculate that the sword was taken to a descendant of Luminarion, the magesmith who originally created the weapon on his legendary arcane forge before the War of the Ancients. This assertion has never been independently verified. An account of Cael'thas Sunstrider's battle with the Death Knight Arthas from the personal writings of Cael'thas. The Death Knight charged, his blade, Frostmourne, arcing down. I blocked with my staff, but it was no use. The stave shattered. It was then that I revealed my surprise. Felo'melorn, Flamestrike, mended, made whole again. It burned with righteous fury as our two swords clashed. Each of us held steady, blades pressed tight. I smiled and asked Arthas if he remembered Felo'melorn. He snidely replied that he saw it snap beneath Frostmourne in an instant before he slew my father. When he shoved me back, I told him that I had found the blade, had it reforged. Broken swords are weak where they are mended, elf, the despicable former prince said. Human swords, perhaps, I replied, and I knew. That day, I knew this one thing at least. I might not win, but Felo'melorn would not be broken again. Filled with renewed purpose, I attacked. From the Journal of Liandra Sunstrider, distant relative of King Anasterion. Today, at last, my efforts to uncover the location of my birthright have borne fruit. It is now made known to me that the sword of my ancestors, Felo'melorn, Flamestrike, resides within the Lich King's stronghold of Icecrown Citadel. It was there that the blade was taken to after leaving the possession of the traitor Cael'thas Sunstrider. At last I shall validate my claim to the Sunstrider throne. I shall seek out Flamestrike, and I shall realize my destiny. Last journal entry of Liandra Sunstrider, distant relative of King Anasterion. Icecrown Citadel, I curse your name. Along empty halls I made my way, through a twisting labyrinth of black serenite, until I beheld a warm red glow pouring from a room at the end of a dismal passage. I entered and saw Felo'melorn, Flamestrike mounted upon a dais. At last, the sword that would solidify my claim to the Sunstrider throne. I approached, awestruck, reached out, and the door slammed shut behind me. The prize I had so long sought was at last within my grasp. But now I'm trapped. Surely death awaits me, or perhaps something worse. Excerpt from a speech given by Aethas Sunreaver. My brothers, in the time since the Sunreaver's expulsion from the Kirin Tor, we have endeavored to secure readmission. I tell you now that the key to our salvation exists. It exists within the frozen black halls of Icecrown Citadel, in the possession of a fallen elf, Liandra Sunstrider. She dwells there now as a reanimated shell of her former self, but I have learned that it is Liandra who holds the infamous Blade of Kings. Felo'melorn, Flamestrike. It has been trusted to remain in her keeping by the Lich King himself, to aid in battle against the Legion. Liandra was obsessed with the blade while she was among the living, and when she ventured to Icecrown to claim it, that obsession proved to be her downfall. However, Liandra's tragic misstep provides us with an opportunity for the Sunreavers to retake our rightful place among the Kirin Tor. And that was Felo'melorn, from the archive of Tirisgarde in the Legion Mage Order Hall. Let me know your thoughts on the lore we uncovered today in the comments below. If you're craving more lore, here's a few recommendations from the collection to browse. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to activate your library card and check out more books with me, the Librarian of Azeroth. Thanks for watching.